Okay, so thank you, Dahlia, for meeting me for this author interview today. My name is,
Yes,
it's so great to meet you. My name
yes.
is Mandy Freire, and I want to focus on you this interview. But I've also just recently self-published a book, and mine is called It's Okay. And,
Yes.
and you have a copy, so I know
Yes, I
you've read
do.
it already. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you so
wonderful
much for
book.
your support. Yeah, so my book is, touches on family relationships and the struggles of early childhood and parenting and, showcasing that that's normal, but also trying to find the light within those moments and knowing that those moments are okay and, that most of us go through those moments.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say really quickly on your book before we even start about me, like I think that I appreciated you having that space because a lot of times with kid books, we love to make things bright and awesome and fluffy for kids, and that is awesome. That's what we do. But it's cool to know that you have created a space to talk about a little bit about reality of everyday moments and make it okay for kids to realize, like, hey, everybody's reality is a little different, but it's still normal. That it's not you're not wrong because you're not dancing on unicorns every day. And I just thought that that was awesome. You included the family so kids could still feel relevant and a part of society, even if their family isn't made up or doing the things every family from their perspective is doing. So awesome, and kudos to you for finding that space and making it your own. I thought that was awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I did really find that after I published it, that a lot of people ended up relating to the book because it did show reality. And so I think that when people can relate to something, then, it makes them want to read the book and it makes them want to get the book and engage with it. And I think that your books really have that kind of element too. And I love the learning that you have in your books. I wanted to ask you, when and why did you start to decide writing children books?
So I actually have always written, but my decision to write children's books is because I love to personify everything. I'm a character personally, and I wanted to kind of share those stories and those characters with other people and get that out there. I will say this, a huge catalyst for me making the decision altogether though is because I read a lot. And as a reader, and this is something that is, I'll be honest, new in my life within the last 6 months.
Okay.
I started reading certain books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then I read Think and Grow Rich. And when I read Think and Grow Rich, that book is something I read all the time now. And I just went on to other books like that. And one of the things that they constantly talk about is, having a gift and sharing what you may not feel like is a gift with the world, and being honest about making your own lane your own way. And me, like I said, having those characters all the time and always wanting to personify everything and knowing that that helps me get through a lot of things. Sometimes I was like, I can share this and I can make this I can share this with other kids because I've done it all my life and I want to see how they relate to the characters. And so my first character was born, my first story was born, and then after that it just continued.
Oh, that's amazing. So you've used those books to kind of guide your journey as well as
Yes,
an author.
yes.
That's very cool. And then tell me about your program Fawn Fables. And then you told me earlier when we were speaking a little bit about your goal for the program. So where do you want to take it? What's your vision for the program?
So Fawn Fables is my children's book label. I need to stop saying little. I do it all the time. It's my children's book label, and it is where I want to have tons of books. I do think a lot of Dr. Seuss, and in the future, I do want to be mentioned in some of the same conversations. Because right now, all of my books are fables. They do rhyme, and so that is something huge. Outside of just doing that, I want to do cartoons in the future. Each book has a purpose and a dynasty that I'm trying to build from it all separately. Like Worth the Wood has an actual Worth the Wood initiative that I want to launch in the future. Each book has a purpose. Outside of that, though, being an author of Fawn Fables and bringing this message and my message to the world, I also want to connect with other authors. Right now, one of the biggest things that I do is I have a lot of authors in my network, and I purposely did that so that I could mastermind from a distance, up close, in the craft and perfect it. You being a perfect example of that. We've never physically been able to meet, and this is actually our first meeting face to face.
Mhm.
And you're located in Canada, and I
Yeah.
am in Georgia. But even prior to this meeting, we've had a lot of just cheering each other on, supporting
Mhm.
each other, getting each other's books, like, and that has been helpful in my journey. And that's what I want to provide and highlight, and hopefully in the future with Fawn Fables as well, have an area for new children's book authors to do that. Not necessarily wanting to become a publisher. I'm not against it. I don't know what that would
Right.
look like, but more so just having a safe new author workshop for people who want to expand in the world of writing. And I would do my best to keep up with the craft and see how it's, perfect, how it's going and how it's advancing, and then bringing that to the group of new authors and saying, hey guys, this is what's going on in that field, this is what we can be discussing, and bringing those ideas together. So that's kind of how everything is coming together in my mind at this time.
That's amazing. I love how you have those big goals. Like you said, you want to be mentioned in the same conversations as Dr. Seuss. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And then, even just recognizing that you want to continue to do training to stay up to date with the craft and things like that. I think that's so important because, that it's like a sport. You want to keep
Yes.
writing and keep
Yes.
practicing. So
Yes.
so you can keep your mind going, I think, and then, it's like keeping up to date in any kind of field of study.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful. And then with all of your books, and I've read 2 of them already, I wanted to ask you, I believe they're all self-published. I wanted to ask you how that self-publishing journey has been for you, um, how you like it. Are you a pro at it now that you've done it a few times?
No. I am not a pro at it, but I have developed a skill for patience with it and the importance of that. Um, I will say the journey has been very, very interesting, and it's taught me a lot about myself, because again, while I'm doing this because writing is an art and something that I love, and is something that I believe is a gift that I have. So with that type of desire and an interest in it, it's easier for me to push through certain things. Now, when I tell you about pushing through as a self-publisher, one of the biggest things is you become an author and you immediately become a salesman. And that is one of the harder parts that I think a lot of new authors don't think about.
Mhm.
Um, as soon as I started thinking about it, I was like, I'm going to become an author. And I automatically just thought I was going to get all this money. I was going to publish a book. I was going to say go, and people were going to rush in and buy my book. And I was going to be like, hold on. Give
Mhm.
me a second. I was just in my mind. And so it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, yeah,
and
I know.
you and you learn when you're self-publishing, you're doing that, you're doing it on your own, you're promoting yourself,
Mhm,
you're buying your own artwork, you are working with illustrators for the first time, and that can be so frustrating
mhm,
if you don't know that space, because it is hard. It's already hard enough for you to bring your vision to the forefront for yourself, for what you think your character looks like, and then you trust this person that you don't know and don't have a relationship with, if you're not blessed to have an illustrator that you've known all your life,
mhm.
to try to give that your character a face for the world to see. And then you have to go through explaining to them and trying to tell them in a time constraint, with a limited amount of revisions, that this isn't right. This is not what this character looks like. And this person has no relationship with this character. So
Right.
that in the self-publishing journey alone can be frustrating. And then after doing that and you get it right and you put all that love, heart, soul, money, let's not lie, it's
Yes,
money
yeah,
into it.
exactly.
Um, and then the world is like, so prove to me why I should buy it. And you're like, what?
Right. Mhm.
So that yes, self-publishing has been, to say the least, a journey, but it is something that I'm weathering, I'm learning, and I am, again, because I'm studying the technique, figuring out the best ways to navigate it.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I admire you for s I'll say, kind of self-publishing totally on your own, because I self-published, but through a self-publishing company, so they kind of, took care of a lot of the details for me. So it, that becomes a little bit easier, but like you said, it does cost money. So that's something to think about. And then again, like you said, once the book is published, now you have to do the promotion work and on your own. So, being on so active on social media like you are
Yes.
is is important and actually necessary.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm. And the other thing that I liked about your books is how you have the learning activities in the back. I wanted to know, like, why you decided to do that and what was your goal in doing that?
Because one of the biggest things is that we read books for a purpose, and I'm one of those people that I'm kind of literal like that. Like, I love to see the purpose in something. And so when I do something, I want other people to see the purpose in why I do it. And so one of the things I did was I wrote the books, and I kept telling myself, I love the message, I love the message. But then I started to worry, how do I make sure they got the message? How do I know
Mhm.
what message they're getting? And so my thought was, ask questions at the end, open-ended questions, start conversations. And the goal, again, like I said, I make every book with a dynasty and a purpose for it long term. My goal is to have people and Fawn Fables, that's why I created this whole hub, to eventually be able to post those questions and people to become able to come from all over the world and answer their answers from their kid. Post pictures of their kid answering the questions, then give dialogue on what this question did for them. All of these things are things that I envision in the future. So my thought is every book needs to have these questions, because in the future that will be what brings everybody together, and opens up these discussions. And while for me these were children's books, there are some of those, a lot of my books, if you see, they talk about things that are major,
Mhm.
and hopefully that can provide insight to making people a little bit more understanding, making people a little bit more loving, making people a little bit more um just open to saying, you know what, this person's human as well, and they matter.
Mm.
So that it I started with the books, but again, it's a whole theme and thought behind that. But that's kind of what pushed it.
Mhm. I love that, and I really like how you talk about, building connections all across the world and people coming together to share these learning experiences. Where you are, just out of curiosity, have you gone with your books to any different children's programs or done public readings or anything like that?
Such a good question. You're actually the first person who's ever asked me that. Not yet, but it is in the making.
Mhm,
Um, that is a lot of the reason why you are here and why you are being so helpful right now. I have a huge fear of reading in front of people
uh,
and talking in front of people about my books. I can talk in front of people about anything else all day, but
mhm,
about my brand, there's a unique, genuine shyness and anxiety there that I haven't yet overcame. So that is the next step. I'm working on it. I am building myself to do that. But these interviews that I'm doing are helping me get feedback and get comfortable meeting people. That's why I don't want to know the questions in advance or anything, and building the confidence to say, okay, I can do this, because believe it or not, children can be some of the hardest critics.
mhm, mhm.
So the more I talk to people and the more I'm comfortable, and the more parents that are coming back, and the feedback is amazing that I'm getting, with people saying, my daughter was very receptive. She really likes the books. Thank you. It gives me more, confidence to get to a point where I can sit in front of a class and start to read and recite the books.
Yeah, that's amazing that, you're so self-aware. I would never guess that because even speaking with you right now, you're very well spoken and you're very clear about your message.
Thank
And
you.
the other thing, and I think I told you this, but I think I watched one of your Instagram videos and you were telling one of your stories. And I think I messaged you or I commented that you have a great storytelling voice.
Yay.
So know that, and I think take that with you. as you build your confidence, and I think you're doing a great job so far. And it's so great too that because you're so self-aware, you're taking the work to do the practice and, to reach out to other people and to do the interviews. That's, you know, I always have said in all my jobs that I like feedback because
Yes.
I want to get better and I want to improve, especially if I have to.
Yes. And I have been learning, and I want to share this with you, and that's why I keep saying I want to do this for any and everybody on the other end if they ask me. I started doing this, and I'm still doing this because of my own fear, right? And the amount of response and people that I didn't expect to be watching that have been watching and have been reaching out to me, and the opportunities that are actually on the horizon for me. I've got a podcast with this lady in New York coming up. I've got
Amazing.
the international mastermind. Um, oh, I can't even get it out. Interview that's coming up in January on the 8th, and I'm so excited and honored to
That's
be,
amazing.
because people have been watching these interviews that I've been doing for practice, and they're like, "Hey, I heard you mentioned Think and Grow Rich, and you talk about that book. We want you to talk about your success and how it's changed you here." And it's in from them announcing me and putting that video up, other people saw it and bought books. So I've gotten a good amount of sales in the last few weeks just from these, and I'm so excited and so blessed. And it wasn't the purpose though. The purpose of these
Right.
was just to share with other authors and other people in general, like, this is what the process looks like, this is what fear, what you do when you have fear and how you face it. And I just wanted to take people on my journey. And since then, a lot of things have happened. So I want to thank you and every other author that have been helping me. And that's why I always ask that you guys pub your books, because there are people watching and buying from these videos. I don't know how, but they're doing it. So I just want to make sure we use the platform.
That's amazing. So, you put the hard work in and you see the results.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's true for many things in life. That's amazing. You'll definitely have to let me know about the podcast. I would love to listen to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a big podcast listener over here, so I would love to hear that. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you about is the diversity that you showcase in the characters in your books. I think
Yes.
that's so important for children to see, especially in these times, and, for especially children of color to be able to see themselves represented in books.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you had a goal with that or a vision with that when writing your books.
So, my company, Farm Fables, is founded on three core principles, and one of them being teaching children how to celebrate each other, celebrate their differences together. That is something that I say often. And a lot of times, the obvious thing to separate yourself from someone else's is with appearance, whether it's color, how they dress, or whatever. And I want to start to try to break those chains early. And so it's important to me that my characters do and go through things that anybody and all kids, probably no matter what language, no matter what area, experience. And they have other characters that they interact with and see how they help, so they can understand that this person, no matter the difference, could be a resource. This person, no matter the difference, has a strength and a way to help. My goal is to build bonds and just stop the idea of separation for superiority. Like, I really think that everybody should know that they're already superior because you are an individual. You won't be born again. There won't be another person that is you on earth in life ever. You are the only you there is. You're already individual enough. You do not have to build additional separations to make yourself superior. So
Mhm.
that is the whole point and purpose behind the diversity in my books. And also, I do have a lot of children. A lot of my main characters are Black, and I champion them a lot just because, as a Black person, that is my story, and I'm very comfortable telling that. There's so many other stories that I'm learning about, and I am going to tiptoe into. But I've made it a point for me as an author, if I ever tell a story outside of my own experience, that I hand in hand it with somebody that is in that experience, because I think it can be very insensitive, though the intention is there,
Mhm.
when you tell a story from a perspective that is not your own.
That's right.
So I am very inclusive in my books, but you will see a lot of Black children championed, because that's the story I know, that's the culture I understand, and I want to give honor to what I know. But I will always include, and like I said, join hands with other people and ask for help if I want to venture out in other areas.
That's amazing. I love that. And I think that's so important to you. And I think that since 2020, this is something that society has to be aware of and recognize as well. And what you said about, not, you're giving your own experience. Me, give, I cannot tell us a story from your experience or from your perspective because I'm not you. And I think that's something, and I didn't, not only am I not you, but I did not grow up with the experience that you grew up with. And so that is something that we have to be very cognizant of. In my book, it's based on my family experiences and my personal family experiences, and the characters were drawn based on my family. And I am obviously a Caucasian woman, that's how I grew up, but my husband is of Asian descent, and so my two daughters they're mixed race. But when I published the book, actually a lot of other families who were kind of similar, mixed race or Asian descent, were very interested in getting the book as well because, they saw themselves represented in my book. And that wasn't necessarily my main goal, but then I saw the importance of that when that came to light. So I love that you're doing that with all of your books. And so the one book I read of yours was Brown with a Crown. And I wanted to ask you if you could touch a bit more on the importance of that and how you decided to come up with the message in that story.
Wow. Okay, so Brown with a Crown had mixed emotions when I did it. But it was for my niece. She was actually the inspiration there. And a lot of it is because I wanted to have fun. I wanted to touch on colors, rhyming, that kind of thing. But I wanted to add some critical thinking in there as well and open up the doors for conversations to be bigger from that. I don't want to give away everything about the story, but one of the key things is just know there's nothing in the English dictionary that actually rhymes with orange. There isn't. It just doesn't. And so one of those things, now that you read the book, I wanted to open up that conversation and bring that to light and teach kids that, that is a fact. Orange is actually one of the unique words. There's like two words that are not, a kid would never just find themselves using, and they're very hard to pronounce, that they have found that they're saying could be considered to rhyme with orange, but orange is a unique word in the English language.
Mhm.
So I wanted to bring attention to that. I also wanted to bring attention to self-reflection. And I wanted to bring attention to seeing value in children and children seeing value in themselves. I think that I don't want to tell everything, but I'm hoping that people see at the end, when she finds her rhyme, she realizes that no matter what she's wearing, she can always be brown with a crown. It doesn't change, and that is simply that's something that symbolized. I also wanted to highlight the teacher was purposely made the color that she is and who she is, and her being the one to help expose that rhyme to Ruby June was important to me as well, because again, breaking barriers, breaking separations, and I wanted to put out the message that it's okay that we be celebrated by someone who isn't always our same race. So
Right.
lots of hidden messages from me in there that I'm trying to convey. Hopefully they come across when you answer the questions at the end and after you read the book. But that's really the premise and the thought behind that.
That's amazing. I like that. And how about right now? Are you working on any new books right now?
Yes. I am, and you're a fellow author too. I don't know if you do the same, but I am working on multiple projects at once because they
Yes,
come to you.
exactly. Me too. I'm guilty of that as well.
And so it's trying to give them room to be,
Oh,
but
you
I'm
just cut
definitely.
out for a second there.
Oh, am I back?
I
Am I
can't hear
back?
you right now. Oh, I think you're back.
Am I back?
You're back. Okay, we
I'm back.
got you.
It is trying to give each of them their attention. So the project that
Hmm.
is closest to being done right now is a project that I have called Bad Math, and I'm so excited about it. There's a few tweaks and pieces that you've ever written a piece and it's great, but there's like this, you just need to, it's like there's that. I'm at that point where I just need that one. It just is not fitting. But once I finish this story, I'm very excited to see how it's perceived, how kids take it, but it's working on logic. I want to really deal with logic and thinking, and so this inspiration is coming from the fact that I used to be a property manager. Now I am a regional marketing director for apartments.
Oh,
But I had a lot of staff, big staffs, and a lot of times my staff members were older than me. So I've dealt with all kind of personalities. And one of the things I would tell my staff all the time is do the math. Like when they would ask me something, if it didn't make sense, I'm like, that's bad math. And that is my way of letting them know you've worked something out, but your result, that's you're not going to get the right, do the long division of that. Let's think about that again. And so I actually got famous for that. My staff's people who have been working with me recently, they'll tell you, Kiana's quick to say that's bad math. Like that's not, you didn't work that out. And immediately though, when I say that, they started to pick that up. And before I would talk, like, and it's good math because here's where I'm seeing, like, and they were so big on trying to show me the process that they took to get to their answer. And I love that because I'm a teacher at heart. When I like to instruct people at heart, because I can then, if you show me where you're thinking, I can say, hey, but here's what you're forgetting. Here's the piece.
right.
And it's like, now we're coming back to the right. So thinking of it that way, I wanted to break this down and get that message out. Because some of the people I work with now are like, we love that term bad math. And I was like, let me write a story for kids to help them work out logic and try to get that thought for them going forward. Like think that piece through a little bit more, So
Hmm.
that is the premise and the thought behind that book.
Amazing. That's very cool. So, so you are working, you said, as a marketing manager or director
Yes.
full time, and so you're also doing your writing and
Yes. And my
taking care of.
company. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good for you. You're keeping busy.
Yes.
And can I ask you, did you grow up in Georgia or did you grow?
No. No, I am originally born and raised in Miami. I left at
Ah,
18 and never came back. I go back to visit and hang out for family, but I've never moved back there. Just because with property management, what I started in, my career took off. I went to college and I put myself through college doing property management because initially I went to school and I had somewhat of a scholarship. In my first semester, I did not do so well and I lost that. And my mom was like, you can come home like that, those are your
yeah.
options. And I was like, heck no. So I got a job at an apartment and I worked for my lodging to pay for it. And I continued to do that and I got good at it and then I got promoted. And so I've always been in property management. But with that, it takes you all over. So I've been in multiple states, multiple places. And I've got to see lots of different people and work with a lot of lots of different thought processes.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure some interesting, some
I tell
maybe.
people all the time, you don't know people until you work with them at
Oh, I
home.
just lost you again.
Oh, am
So
I there?
I can't hear you right now.
Oh, can you? Yeah? No? Yeah? No? Yeah?
Maybe
Yeah. Nope.
try again.
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's my earphones or yours. Maybe it's mine.
Man, well, because I'm using the laptop and I'm not touching it or moving it, so it could be your
Maybe it's my
earphones.
earphones. Okay, sorry
Maybe.
about that. Yeah, sorry, continue.
But yeah, so I just I always say you don't know a person until you work with them in their home, because people are really who they are when it comes to being home. So
Mhm.
you get to see a lot of things and lots of inspiration for characters there.
Oh yeah, so all that experience, all that variety of going to different places, that's a
Yes,
good background for creating characters.
yes.
That's amazing. Well, those are all my questions for today. It was great to learn more about you and your writing, your stories, your program. So that was awesome. It was great to connect with you on here.
Thank you so much. And I didn't mention her, but I am working on Doe the Deer. She is my signature character. I don't know if you can see her back
Oh
there.
yes.
She is her poem is out for you to, review and just get a feel for her personality. Her brother's poems are coming. I'm working on those. And her series will be awesome. She's gonna be my, like I always say, my cat and I have my Mickey Mouse. She's gonna have a cartoon series. I'm already speaking into existence. Like that is my goal. So it's just I'm taking my time with her, but definitely I'm hoping by summer of 2022 she'll be out and ready for everybody to enjoy.
That's amazing. Well, definitely keep me posted on
Yes,
anything else that comes up, and I can't wait to hear your podcast.
yes.
Yeah,
And tell
that's
us,
so
and just
cool.
asking, even though this is this is for me, do you have any projects that you want to share that are coming up or anything that you're working on you think will be ready soon?
So I'm still pushing my It's Okay book.
Yes.
Um, this was just released, well, technically September of 2021, but I really started, I think, promoting it October is when it kind of really got out there. So can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes
Yes.
and Noble in the US,
Yes.
I think some other online programs, Book Depository in the US as well. And in Canada, it's also on Amazon, in Europe, and also Chapters Indigo in Canada. So I'm still working promoting that. I am getting it into a local store close to me here in Toronto. So that's that's
Are you doing that
exciting
by
for me.
yourself or are you
Uh,
with help?
I contacted the store, said, "Hey, I have a book. Would you be interested in having it at your store?" And they said yes. So yeah. So that's exciting. So I'll be delivering it to them this weekend. So I'll post about that for sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm just working on still getting this book out there because it's fairly new. I
Amazing.
have two other books on the go right now that I've been working with editors on actually. So that's been a great learning experience working with editors. I might try and go the traditional publishing route this time around, see how
Okay.
how that compares. Um, and then I'm thinking of, like you mentioned, improving on my craft and taking a course in the new year for
Yes.
specifically for
Yes.
children's fiction.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
You are a such an amazing connection for my network, and I really just wanted to appreciate you, Mandy, for reaching out, for talking to me. You have been super receptive from the beginning.
Oh, that's so
Um,
nice.
and you have been cheering me on. Same thing, vice versa for you. So I just wanted to say thank you for this. And if there's ever anything that I can do on my end, let me know. And I would love to do an interview for you, vice versa. And as I interview with people, I want to also say I'm gonna plug and ask them if they had more spots. And if they do, I will connect you with those people all the time. Like, hey, this person interviewed me. They're interested in interviewing you. I've told them about you. You can pick it up from there.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It was amazing to speak with you. I love doing this. I love getting to know you. So hopefully we can do another one in the future.
Yes.
And I hope you have good writing for the rest of the week. And
Thank you. That is an awesome voice.
you got to keep it going, keep the motivation going, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll connect soon on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.